what is important is avoiding chemicals, dangerous substances, having clean air, having clean materials, a space that makes me feel healthy and good and that promotes rest and just makes me freaking happy. Hello cookies, it's Siri, I am back. I'm going to give you a room tour and hallway tour, and I'm going to do it from the perspective of someone who has studied interior design, architecture, biophilic design. I am finishing up my studies in sustainability and I will start an internship focused on dangerous chemicals and dangerous substances. So that would be the major of my thesis paper for this degree. So let's start with the hallway first. So one way to define a space if there's no real definition is to use color. The shade of burgundy that the hallway currently has is a little bit of a miss. It looks really good against the green of the bedroom, but I would have liked it to be a bit more terracotta. But from the website where I saw the paint, I wasn't super sure that the terracotta would be dark enough. Of course, when it comes to the paint that was used, I absolutely wanted a paint that was VOC free, that was free of really dangerous chemicals, and I did not want paint that smells for weeks on end after you have painted the place. This apartment was fully white. I have never been a fan of white spaces. I have never seen a white space that tickled my fancy. White and light gray, beige-y spaces are so popular on Pinterest and everywhere. And I understand that it's very subjective. And I've always said that you will never see me being hired to use Stockholm white, which is the most popular color of paint in Sweden. Never, ever, ever, ever. And this is the first time in my life that I have a space where I get to pick the colors and pick how I want the space to look like within a limited budget. Very limited budget. Here in the bedroom, the walls are dark green. I absolutely love darker bedrooms. When it's the summer in here, the sun hits the wall and you don't have this crazy bright reflection in your face that you can get when you have white walls or you have to squint like this and it's just way too bright. When you do this, you get wrinkles and it's also uncomfortable. When it's the summer, this space is just so nice to be in. When the weather is cloudy and dark like today, it creates this mood that is so freaking cozy and it feels like a den. Now I'm in my little cave den and I'm just so comfortable and warm and cozy here while the outside is gray and cold. There are countless studies that show that the chemicals that are used in paint are not good for humans or for dogs or cats or animals. You don't need studies. You don't need people like me who will focus on dangerous chemicals to tell you. Humans are actually quite good at understanding that something is not good. So if you go into a space that has been painted and you can't breathe, you start sneezing, you start coughing, you start having migraines, that is definitely not a healthy space because that is not how you're supposed to feel like. We invested in more expensive paint that is free of dangerous chemicals. It smelled so freaking nice. It had this earthy smell. I could not believe that paint could smell so good. I mean, now the smell is gone. The smell vanished after a couple of days, but it did not feel toxic. Still on the topic of air quality, the things that you inhale through your mouth and your nose that you can see can actually be very dangerous for you. And just because you don't see them doesn't mean they're not harmful for you. I mean, insert COVID or the common cold. If you stay in a space for a long time, you have to be mindful of the air quality. I will never be without an air purifier ever again. When I lived in Stockholm, the douchebag neighbors downstairs, they smoked so much that it really seeped through their ceiling and it went into the apartment, through the vents, in the bathroom, and the whole place smelled so much like cigarettes all the time, especially during the winter. The only thing thing that helped my migraines due to the cigarette smell was an air purifier. And here it's the same, because when it's getting colder, people use coal, and there's also apparently coal from neighborhood countries that fly to Germany, and the air quality is just so freaking bad. When I walk like outside, I can smell it sometimes early morning or late evening when people have used the coal to heat up the houses, that it's just so bad. And using an air purifier has helped me breathe better at night and really just clean the air. And even just because I have a dog, when you have dog and when you have fur dander and when you have dust that attaches to the fur that is in the air because she's so freaking fluffy, it's just nice to have an air purifier to collect everything. Onto the materials that I allow in the bedroom. You have seen in my previous videos that I'm totally not into plastic and polyester and things like that. The bed itself that we have is from a company that makes furniture from cardboard boxes. We were a bit skeptical at first, but it works really well, Cookies, and especially since we were not sure yet of what kind of bed we wanted in the beginning and how big we wanted it, and we needed something very quick because we did not have furniture when moving in here. We slept on the floor for the first couple of weeks. It was a relatively cheaper alternative to buying a real bed and then finding out later that you hate it, it doesn't match the design, it's uncomfortable to sleep on, it does the job, there's nothing wrong with it. It just works so well. I wish they had more colors, but I think the black works really well with the cupboards and the darker vibe that I am going for. A bedroom that is just dark and cozy and soft and healthy. But unfortunately, my neighbor upstairs is still a freaking douchebag, and so he's still stomping day in, day out. There are a lot of ways to create noise cancellation. Had we decided that we were going to stay here for 2 or 3 plus years, then that would have been done, because talking to the neighbor has not worked. He's still a selfish douchebag, unsocialized, impolite, rude person. Onto the bed sheets. We have 2 sets of bed sheets. One is fine organic cotton that is supposed to replicate silk, and then the other set that is dark burgundy is silk. Cotton just breaks my curls like there's no tomorrow, and it tugs at my face, and I'm trying not to get too wrinkly too early. It feels really nice, it's not too warm at night, and I just love that it's nicer for my skin and for my face. I don't wake up with tons of bedsheet lines on my face and my body. I've had less hair breakage since changing to silk. I would like to use a more sustainable mattress, because the current one that we have is just a rather cheap one that is orthopedic-ish, so it's actually not too bad for my back, and I don't mind. I know that Sebastian complains quite a lot about the mattress, but I had looked into more sustainable alternatives that are sustainable and biodegradable and that are super, super good for your back. And also, it doesn't trap mold, it doesn't trap chemicals. Onto the cupboards behind me, you might have recognized that they are IKEA cupboards, but they're all secondhand. We try to find them all together, which is harder, of course, but it's easy enough to find one here, one there, one here, one there. And so now we have 3 of them that fit the space that is empty. So it actually almost looks custom made, and they fit so well that they look like they're made for this space. One thing that is not very popular here in Europe is a carbon monoxide detector. I insisted on that last year and told Sebastian that it would be good to have one, so we have one constantly in the bedroom. Of course, if you read about Europe, the risks are very minimal, but then again, you don't notice that you have a leakage of dangerous gases until it happens, and either you make it or you don't make it, and you don't even wake up in that case because you're sleeping. When it comes to the lighting, it's not entirely finished. Sebastian absolutely wanted an overhead lamp that is a ceiling lamp. If I could get my way, I would never put ceiling lamps anywhere unless I'm designing a hospital or a school or something like that. But in a home, there is no faster way to make a place look uncozy than have direct cold ceiling lights just create strong shadows, and then there's no soft indirect lighting. So at the moment we only have a few indirect lights. We have two of them, one on the floor and one up there above the cupboards. We have realized that we don't really need bedside tables. Aesthetically, it would have looked nice, of course, to have matching bedside tables and a lamp to read on each side, and then you can put decor there. But when it comes to function and just consumerism, for us, it makes absolutely no sense. Sebastian has this messy cardboard side table that is just, I don't even know what the situation down there is. But at the moment it works for us and it hasn't been a big problem. And finally, when it comes to decor, I prefer big things. Had we gone for decor in here, I would have definitely liked a huge print of one of Sebastian's photos or a huge painting. My spaces should not have tiny small knickknacks here and there. That's why the only decoration piece that we have at the moment is the big plant. It was actually much smaller when we got it, but I have managed to somehow take care of it. When it comes to the pot, for me it was obvious that it has to be terracotta. It's easier for me to keep plants alive when I use terracotta pots. I like the color of the terracotta against the green in the bedroom. The big yellow blanket is 100% wool. I have experimented with it. I've tried washing it with special wool soap in a wool program in the washing machine, and it has survived. I think it looks really nice with the burgundy of the bed sheets and with the green of the walls. So it works well, and I love that I can wash it and it hasn't lost its shape. To conclude this video, for me what is important is avoiding chemicals and dangerous substances, having clean air, having clean materials, a space that makes me feel healthy and good and that promotes rest and just makes me freaking happy. I love this green shade, and I've never not been happy about seeing these walls and thinking, oh, I just love it so freaking much. I love the colors that I'm looking at the moment, the burgundy, the mustard. I don't even mind the black behind me because I feel like it looks kind of sleek. It's not 100% sustainable. These were secondhand. Most of the things are secondhand or things that Sebastian already owned before. We try to purchase everything from sustainable companies, but it's still not 100% perfect. I will show you the living room with the gaming setup at some point. I am really proud of it. The carpet is 100% wool. The cushions are 100% cotton velvet. Yes, there is such a thing as velvet that is not polyester. The filling is 100% something natural. If it's not cotton, it's something natural. There's the air purifier, humidifier. I mean, there are things there, and I'm so pleased there are second-hand items. And so that's it for today's video, cookies. I will see you very soon. Bye. The people who built this building bought the cheapest wood flooring. It is a very hard wood, very durable. It's the kind of wood that you can have many tenants move and walk on and move furniture on, and it will last forever. But this kind of flooring is so bad for your back and feet and knees and leg health. This flooring is totally unacceptable for people to walk on constantly, and that's why I have slippers and I always wear socks and thick socks, because if I'm just barefoot in here, it really hurts. If you have pets, you should have flooring that is not overly slippery, because that is bad for their back and also for your own knees. If you have to maintain your balance, it's really not good for your knees.